Right folks, here we've got another of the Bundy's A-team of mirrors, a fish called Yo-Yo, weighing just over £33. It's a repeat for me, but as you can see it's an absolute stunning carp. I've been using the new tapered subline and messing around with it and putting it through its paces, and trust me, it's not just a distance mainline, as this capture shows. And what we'll do when we've sorted this baby out is I'll talk you through some of the other uses over and above its distance design purposes. Yeah, you join me on a windy Bundy's day. It's August and it's a really big southwesterly that's blowing at the minute, which makes it really good conditions. I'm here to talk to you about a brand new product from Korda, and that's the SUBline Tapered Mainline. SUBline, as we all know, is a classic mainline. It's robust, it's bulletproof, and it's a real workhorse of a mainline that is just gaining such popularity, but the boys at Korda have gone and improved it. Now, why a tapered mainline? Firstly, it gets over leader knots, so if you're fishing at distance, it's the one for you. The tapered mainline means there's no leader knot to frap up on, and it gets over leader bands, most importantly, which are becoming more and more popular. It's available in 3 breaking strains, being £8, £10 and £12, all through to a £40 leader. Now basically you get a one-shot spool which gives you 2 setups basically. It's a 300 metre spool, so it's reversible. So just load it onto your reel. If you're a Bezier user like myself, it fits the spools perfectly. Now, so what are the advantages? As I've said, it gets away from a leader knot, so therefore you've got no weak point in your setup. On Bundy's, where I'm fishing now, I've chosen to use it over and above the original SUBline for a couple of reasons. The first one is I'm not fishing at big distances here. I'm fishing probably 80-90 yards at most, but because it's 0.40 at the thick end, sorry, 0.50 at the thick end on the leader section, it means that leader is bigger and heavier than any IQ or any fluorocarbon leader that I would normally incorporate into my setup. And it also means I can use it with the chod system and the naked chod beads, using it either as a hinge stiff rig or a choddy on a helicopter setup without any knots or anything that I need to worry about above the setup. What we'll do now is we'll show you a couple of the rigs that I use with this brand new product that is absolutely brilliant and has brought me some brilliant results already. Right, what I'm going to talk to you about now is how to spool up with the tapered subline first off, and then I'm going to show you the rigs that I use. As I pointed out, the new tapered subline comes in 300 metre spools. So what you need to do is take your reel. Now most reels nowadays come with a spare spool as well, this is where this really nifty bit comes in. Spool up your empty spool with your one-shot tapered subline. If it's up to the lip of the spool, brilliant, you're ready to go and ready to use it. If it's not quite up to the lip, take some old mono and just add that to the end of your tapered subline, and then wind the old mono on just to fill your spool up till the lip, and then reverse it onto your spare spool or your empty spool, and you're then ready to fish. And this is where the joy of this system comes in as well. Should you be unfortunate enough to need to take some of the leader section off because you've been catching loads of fish and it's worn or it's ran across a snag, all you need to do is then take an empty spool and wind the leader, the main line back onto that empty spool, and you're ready to go again because you've reversed it, and obviously there's a leader at each end of the spool. Now the rigs I use with it, first of all, this is the 0.50 £40 leader section. Now it's absolutely brilliant stuff, and the SUBline is traditionally a really good sinking mainline, and in these breaking strains it just sinks like a brick. Now the first one I like to use is just a standard lead clip. It's a hybrid lead clip and a tail rubber. So we pop the tail rubber on, and then it's a simple case of a 5-term grinner knot, I have to count it in my head, and then just moisten that off and then bed it down nice and gently. There we go. Just trim that tag end, and as you would do any lead clip system, that to my mind is ready to rock. Because of the 40 pound braking strain section, that is going to sink as well as any fluorocarbon leader that you would use, or pretty much any type of leader. And because of the diameter of it, it's as tough as any leader out there as well, so it will not snap when you're rubbing up against snags and things like that. It is absolutely brilliant. If you're slightly unsure, then a few drops of the dark matter putty every foot or so, just up the last 4 or 5 feet of the main line, will ensure that it sinks like a brick. Now the other way of using this is obviously with a helicopter system, and that's what I'm going to show you now with the naked chod system and the no trace beads. For the helicopter system, the naked chod beads are absolutely brilliant. I mean, these are well documented and people know what these are all about, but I'll just go through how I set my system up. First of all, take your barrel section off the brilliant, easy to use pack that Korda supply it on, and slide your barrel section up your main line. Next is your hook link. Now this is on a size 8 ring swivel, and this is a multi-rig, so this will be just a normal helicopter presentation. Next up is your stopper bead. Thread that up the main line as well. And the next thing I add is a cut down shock leader sleeve, and I'll explain why in a second. So that's onto the main line. Next we add a quick link, which is just attached with a normal 5-turn grinner. And then a lead with the swivel removed. So now we just slide the shock leader sleeve down over the quick link. And then reposition that bottom bead an inch or 2 away from the top of the shock leader sleeve. And then the magic of the system, the no trace bead, which we fasten on the narrow end of the barrel, push up towards the thicker diameter section. And there you go, safest helicopter system around. That's used with a multi-rig hook link, but also this can be used with the naked chod hook link, which would just be your chod hook link in place of my multi-rig on there. Now the joys of this system are, on the tapered subline, that 0.50 diameter 40 pound section, there is no worries about that ring swivel wearing through that section. That's going to withstand playing fish several times over, unlike with some 12 pound or 15 pound main lines where you may get friction issues. That's not going to let you down. I add that shock leader sleeve cut down purely for when I'm using it as a naked chod system, because that buffers up during a fight and just acts as a bit of a cushion for the lead swinging around with the short hook link. Brilliant, brilliant system on the new tapered subline, which just takes it to a whole nother level. Give it a go.